And of course, to shed more light on the efforts exerted by the state under the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in, of course, honoring and enlightening the participation of Egyptian women in all sectors of society. We're delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest, Dr.Sara, founder of the UNACR for Social and Political Research. Dr. Sara, a very good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Now, Doctor, the percentage of women representatives in the new parliament has risen significantly to about 25% from the old rates of even 2%. How far do you see the change in this representation work to the favor of women's interests as well?
Women of Egypt had a very prominent role in changing the political context of Egypt.
Yes.
And preserving the identity of our society. Like, we had a very important role, you and me and every Egyptian woman contributed in choosing our future and in choosing the way we are handling our society and our politics. The significance of the percentage, it's not even 25%, because 25% is the quota of women. Like, women have to be in the parliament, like, minimum by 25%, but actually it's 50, because you have the other seats to compete on. Another 25% you are freely to compete on inside the electoral list. Yes. So 25% is the minimum that women can compete winning the seats of the parliament. That was the minimum percentage put, but you can freely compete on almost 50% of the seats. And that's because this government and this President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, knows the importance of women in forming the social and the political and the economic context of the future of Egypt.
Absolutely. Dr. Sara, of course, as you mentioned, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi announced earlier on in 2017 as the beginning of the year for women to start to develop a new strategy for Egyptian women, how they have become more prominent in different sectors of society, whether it's in public or private sectors. How do you evaluate the efforts exerted to improve the role and the field for women in general?
Assigning the year of 2017 to be the year of women by the highest authoritative figure in Egypt, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, is a big symbol on how women should be included in all sectors and all perspectives of our lives and of shaping the future of Egypt. This is a symbol or a move to show the world and to show women of Egypt their importance and to, like, an encouragement to keep them working on track for the future of Egypt, economically, politically, and socially. We have the percentage of women taking care of their families, like financially, is almost now 56%.
Yes.
So half of the society is women shaping the future of their kids and financially taking care of everything inside their families. So that's a big step and a big move into empowering women as well, and believing in their role in shaping the future of Egypt.
Indeed. Doctor, let's talk a bit about the fight for women's rights. In your opinion, what are still some of the challenges that women face, and what needs to be done in order to further give them the rights that they deserve?
There is still a lot of work to be done in this area.
Yes.
Of course, no one can deny the great efforts exerted in empowering women in all perspectives, as I told you, and as we see, starting with the national strategy of 2030 adopted by Egypt in the UN framework and the UN strategy of 2030 within the framework of UN. And there is a lot of effort exerted to include women in everything, even and most importantly in the economic life and in the economic cycle. But there is still a lot of work to be done, like the inclusion of small enterprises run by women, small small industries run by women should be also included in the economic system, like to have them secured for life,
Yes.
and to have their insurance and everything. And this is what the government is working on now. And there is as well a lot of national programs for inclusion of women in peace and security, inclusion of women in economic cycle, inclusion of women in the political cycle. It all comes from the women's rights concept, and it all comes from the concept of empowering women, because women of Egypt have been seen and have proved to be the pillar
Yes.
of stability of Egypt, of the society of Egypt, because the women who preserve the identity, we refuse to be run by extremists, we refuse to have our identity changing, and we're still making this place our home, or making this country our home, with all the economic development and the development of the capabilities of women to be able to run the country and build the society.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Sara, the founder of the UNACR for social and political research.